Welcome back to another Wednesday live coaching here. Again, I'm coming to you recorded as I am away visiting my son, my daughter-in-law, my grandson. But I did not want you to miss out on this coaching because we're in this series of inflammation, and inflammation is the root cause of all disease. And so today, we're talking about inflammation and exercise, how your workout can actually be causing inflammation in your body instead of helping you, it's hindering you. And that's not where we want to be. So, if you're joining me today for the first time, welcome here today. I am Tanya Gustafson, nutritionist, fitness coach, hormone balance coach, just recipe guru. Love helping women. And I started Fit Nutrition in 12 years ago to help women take back control of their health, their hormones, their gut health, their mental wellness, and just live with food freedom and love their lives, even in midlife, getting rid of all the menopause nasty. You don't have to live with all of that. Okay, so today we're talking about you and your workout and how can that, maybe not be serving you when we think that all I got to do is just work out harder, right? That's the thing. That's the spot where I came from. The fitness industry is where I came from. I've been in the health and fitness industry since 1986. And now looking back at the industry as it was then, I say health this much, fitness this much. So there was a lot about exercise, but there wasn't a lot about for midlife women, especially, and what you some of the exercises you may be doing or they may be suggesting that you do. It's out there all the time. Oh, you just got to do some cardio to lose weight. Cardio is your fat burning exercise. Well, certain kinds of cardio are really, really good all the time. Like going out for a walk, a good old fashioned walk is something that everybody should be doing every single day, regardless of what area of health you're in, what age, what genre, what men, women, kids, whatever. Get out and go for a walk because it gets your body moving. It's a little bit of strength, supports your muscles. It just gets the blood flowing. It's good for your mental wellness. You breathe deeper when you're out walking, a nice brisk walk. So, walking, yes, that's called cardio because it gets your heart moving. But when we're thinking about the cardio that the fitness world is telling us to do, and you see women out there just, crushing it, getting on the Peloton every single day and doing like a high intensity spin, spinning as fast as they can for like an hour on end and doing that on repeat every single day, or going out and doing those long distance run, like fast long distance runs an hour a day, every day, all the time, over and over and over again, thinking that I need to, or on the treadmill, same thing, whether you're outside or on the treadmill, it's going to be the same effect. Running and going and going and going and going and going at this high intensity that never stops, thinking that you're burning off more fat when actually, and then you're thinking, well, how come I'm not losing weight after a while, right? Like you've done it, you're doing it, you're thinking, well, heck, I'm working out harder. Why am I not losing weight? Why am I feeling exhausted? Well, maybe I'm not doing it right. Maybe I'm not doing enough of it. Maybe I should do it 6 days a week instead of 5. There's all these thoughts that run through your head, right? And I was there too, right? I mean, I was coaching women on teaching women on how to do this. And the whole thing in the fitness industry so long ago, which is still taught today. So I'm just saying, if you're working with a fitness trainer and your trainer is just telling you, hey, you just got to work out harder with your cardio and you need to cut those calories, don't eat till after your workout. We covered food on the last video, so go back and listen to last week's if you missed that one. But the right kind of food and the right kind of movement is really, really necessary because if you don't have those two, you're really fighting an uphill battle. Okay, so um, when inflammation is high in your body, so if you are already carrying extra weight, if you're already having a lot of stress, if you are having any other issues in your body, you're maybe hormonal, right? You're in the midlife, you're having perimenopause symptoms or menopause symptoms, or you're postmenopausal, but you're still getting some of that stuff coming in, and you're just feeling blah and fatigued or stressed or moody or, all of the above, even maybe. you've got inflammation. Okay, inflammation doesn't just mean that you've cut yourself, like the example I use a lot, right? Inflammation doesn't just mean that, or that you've got an injury because you broke an ankle or you were in a car accident or something. All those are inflammatory as well too. But it's not just for that. It's the things that are every day that's in your body. And the higher the inflammation is, like if your cortisol is up because your stress is up, that's inflammation. If you're always feeling like on edge and a little bit testy and a little bit tired and exhausted and a little bit pinched, maybe that's sometimes a good descriptive word. You've got some aches and pains in your body, your digestive's not working so well, you're bloated, you got brain fog, any of that, you have inflammation. Now, the higher the inflammation is in your body, exercise can become a double-edged sword because the higher the inflammation, the higher the stress is on your body, and we can be causing our organs and systems to be stressed. And exercise is a stressor. Am I saying don't exercise? Absolutely not. But the right kind of movement can help heal you, but the wrong kind or just too much of it can actually make things worse. Okay, so women in midlife have been taught that exercise is the fix for everything, right? I don't know how many women come to me and they say, well, I want to lose weight. And so I started working out and I started doing this, and they're still gaining weight. So if you had to put a number on it, it's pretty much going to be like an 80-20. It's 80% food, 20% exercise, but the right kind of exercise, because if you're doing the wrong kind of exercise, it's actually working against that 80% of the food that you're doing and against the 20% of goodness that exercise would normally be the benefit of it that you'd normally be getting. Okay. So what we've normally been taught is that exercise is going to be the be all end all, the fix, right? So just get in there, work harder, it's going to happen. Just do it. Trust me, it's going to work. And it'll work for a little while, but then it doesn't work and the weight comes back, or it doesn't work at all and you just start gaining weight. And so you work out more because you're like, okay, that probably wasn't enough. And then you get tired, kind of exhausted. So you push through. Still not working so much. So, but now you're even more stressed because now you're thinking about it. You're thinking about how you've been working out so hard, how you've been putting in the time, how you've been doing the actions, how you've been doing X, Y, Z, fill in the blank, right? For X amount of time. So now you're stressed because now you're getting a little anxious. You're like, well, if this isn't working, it's not going to work. So, you push through, you're stressed, you go for a run, you try something different, but it's still not working. And what's really happening under the surface is inflammation is running the show. Your body's already in a state of internal stress. Cortisol is elevated, so your recovery is slower, joints are stiffer. And then when you add that high intensity training for long durations, like the Peloton, long-term workouts, the spin bike workouts, the crazy running on the, like a run for an hour, that kind of stuff every day of the week. And you put that in without the right foundation, you end up triggering a cortisol cascade, and your body gets inflamed even further. So one of the biggest reasons why that's one of the biggest reasons that so many women hit a wall in menopause, because the workouts that you used to love or at least tolerate, right? Because they were working for you, they suddenly stop working. And now you feel kind of like puffy and bloated. You're not feeling leaner, but you're feeling leaner. Then you're sore for days. It's not just like that. Oh, I feel a little bit sore, like I did a good workout. No, you're like, oh man, I'm just sore and I'm feeling like I'm 80, and then you can't sleep and you're wired but tired. You're exhausted, but you're like wound up and can't get to sleep. And you're frustrated because you think you're doing everything right, but you're not getting results. But your body's trying to protect you. And so it's trying to resist more stress. And inflammation makes the body hold on to fat, especially around the midsection, right? It breaks down the muscle tissue more easily. And if you're breaking down the muscle and you have less muscle, you automatically have a bigger fat percentage, right? Because we're all 100% of something. And we want to change that composition to have a higher muscle composition than where we are now and lower the fat composition, right? So if that's not happening in your metabolism, if it's gone the other way, then that's your metabolism slowing down and your shape changes, your strength kind of goes down, even while you're showing up and sweating and putting in the work. You also have to eat to support the recovery. And that's another thing women are not doing. And I talked about the food on last week's call. So if you missed that, go back and watch that. It's in your portal for all you fit lifers. It's in the group as well, too, for any of the longtime grandfathered members in our 8 weeks community there. But if you're also not eating to support recovery, sleeping enough and hydrating, and we're going to be touching on each one of these individually in the coming weeks here, then exercise is just another stressor that your body has to recover from. And it simply isn't having enough resources. So that's why we talked about food first last time, because we have to make sure we're fueling our body properly. Because if you are working out, doing the wrong kind of workouts, or if you're working out because sometimes it's both, then you're really hampering your results. So it's not about quitting movement. Like I said, I don't want you to stop exercising at all. It's about redefining the movement, what it looks like during this season of your life. The goal should never be to burn calories. The goal should be to build muscle, reduce stress, and move the lymph so you can drain the stuff that's sitting there, drain the fluid. And that will help to detoxify your body and carry away inflammatory waste. So you don't need to crush yourself at the gym. You just support your body in its healing. And so that should always be our focus, just like with food as our foundation. We talked about that. We said that we should be focusing on the food and not the calories, right? Well, here, the same thing, we're going to be focusing on not just quitting the movement and burning calories, or not just burning calories, but to build muscle. Because when you build the muscle, it will burn the calories. That's just the way it works. Your body will, when it releases the stored fat, your muscle takes it up and burns it as energy. Calories are our energy, right? But it has to have that muscle to burn it up. If it has less muscle, it burns up less of the fat that's released, and therefore we have less energy. So strength training is one of the most powerful tools that we have to fight inflammation. So when you are stronger, when you build muscle, it helps to regulate your blood sugar. It reduces your visceral fat, which is, the fat around the middle that we don't want. It improves your insulin sensitivity, right? Because it helps with your blood sugar and that brings down the insulin. It helps you build lean muscle that keeps your metabolism turned on. But you have to be smart about it, right? It's not just about hitting the gym and just randomly doing stuff. So you're going to focus on things called like progressive overload. I'm going to talk about that. Good form, getting enough rest, and enough protein to actually support what you're trying to build. So just doing something more isn't better. Doing it better is better. Okay. So as we talked about, just more workouts are not necessarily better, but the right kind of workouts and the right kind of fuel that you're putting in your body are going to be the key. So working out smarter, not harder necessarily. So progressive overload. So what's the best way? Think of a pyramid. Okay. So if you are starting out and you want to, we're going to start at the bottom and we're going to work up. So say you're going to do 3 to 5 sets of weightlifting. And when I say sets, you don't have to be this pro bodybuilder person in the gym. It could literally be, you fill some milk jugs with fill them up halfway with water. And that's where you're starting. Put a line so you know how much water you put in. You don't know how much it weighs, but does it matter? No, it just matters that you're gonna change it as you go, right? Okay, so sorry, these silly little earplugs or these ear things, they're new and they don't fit me as well as the other ones. Anyway, okay, so progressive overload means you're starting with a certain weight. And if you're starting at, say, 12 repetitions, you're going to do your 12 reps. And then you want to make sure that it gets to be quite difficult for the last two or three of them. It's like, you have to it's really, it's hard. Now, you're going to go up a little bit in weight, but you're going to come down in repetition. So maybe you did 12 reps with, a 12-pound dumbbell. Maybe now you're going to do 10 reps with a 10-pound dumbbell. And then you come down and you do 8 reps with an 8-pound dumbbell. Okay. Oh, pardon me. Let's back up. You did 12 reps with a 12-pound dumbbell. You're going to come down and do 10 reps with a 15-pound dumbbell. So your reps are coming down, but you're adding some more weight. So you're doing fewer repetitions. So it would get easier, obviously, if you did the same weight or less weight. So I'm sorry about that. Just cancel that. I said the wrong thing. You're going to start with the whatever weight you start with, and you're going to increase the weight as you decrease the repetition. So it's a progressive overload. So you're going more weight as you do your next set and your next set and your next set, but you're going to do less repetitions. Okay. If you can handle it, you can do the same number of reps and just do more, but that's really not a progressive overload, because if it's really hard for you to do the last 2 or 3 reps at the weight you're doing and you increase it, then you're probably not going to even be able to get to that number and to keep it there. But you can try. That's okay. That's still a progressive overload. So the idea would be your weight's going to go up, your repetitions are go down, or stay the same. Okay, so that's a progressive overload. You want to have good form, so you don't want to sacrifice your form just to go up in weight. If you can't, maintain a proper good form with whatever way you're lifting, and if, consult a trainer, send me a message. I can send you a picture. I can get on a call with you if you're doing your home gym. I can help you out. But yeah, so make sure that you have someone check your form if you're going up super heavy weights, because you don't want to be, having poor form and then hurt yourself. It's always form first and then the weight. And if you have proper form, here's the thing. If you're not quite sure about your form and you're like, I've just been like really getting in there and hoofing it up extra heavy weights, and you haven't checked your form, I would say drop your weight a little bit. Drop a chunk of weight, pick up an easy dumbbell, check your form, make sure it's right, and then add up from there. And keep the form, keep looking at yourself in the mirror, and keep that form. It's super important, because if you don't, you're going to cause an injury. So you're going to be doing a progressive overload, you're going to be building some muscle, but you're going to be also injuring yourself in the long run. And then maybe you won't be able to work out. And then the muscle gains you've had are going to fizzle out, and then you're gonna have to start again. So not so great. We don't want to avoid injury at all costs. And so, like I said, I talked about walking at the beginning. It's an underrated anti-inflammatory movement. Walking helps to regulate your cortisol. It helps to improve your mood, helps digestion, gets your lymphatic system going, and it doesn't tax your joints or your nervous system. Okay. And when your inflammation is high, walking and strength are your best friends. And so that high intensity and the long runs, maybe not. You want to bring down your inflammation first before you want to put any of those back in. And if you choose to put any of those back in, you would not put them in every single day, and you would make sure that you do a recovery workout the next day. So you're going to not put them back to back. You're going to have spaces in between. You're going to do the strength and the walking and that kind of cardio in between, so you have a good overall balance with your exercise. So inflammation also messes with your recovery. So if you might feel sore longer than you used to. That's not the sign of a good workout. It's a sign that your body does not have what it needs to repair. So if you're not giving it enough protein, if you're working out fasted, like I said before, don't do that. Make sure you eat before you work out, and then eat a recovery meal after. You need the proteins, the minerals, the hydration, the rest. You need a rest day, right? Like, think about your car in the driveway. If you propped it up on blocks, turned it on, and put a brick on the gas pedal and just let it go all the time, it's going to last, it's going to run, but is it going to last as long as it normally would when you just drive it normally? No. Is it going to last as long as it would if you drove it normally and did some long trips here and there? No. Right? Are your parts going to break down sooner? Absolutely. Okay. Same for you. Your parts are going to break down sooner. Because when depletion meets inflammation, your results, you stall. Like, it's like comes to a halt, and your symptoms spike. So all this pain, all the inflammation, all this stuff. And so the thing is, so it might seem like you're doing less at first, but you're actually doing more for your body. And women tend to blame them. Women are really bad for this. So men, if you're watching too and you've done this, this is for you too. All right. Everybody needs a rest. Everyone needs to fuel properly. Everybody needs to be mindful that if you are inflamed, those kinds of workouts are not working for you. They're not your friend. You need to do the strength training, and you need to do the walking. You need to get the inflammation down before you add any of the other stuff. Okay. But women almost always blame themselves when they're not getting a result. they think that because they worked out so hard, they should be having these amazing results, right? They should, because they have done so much cardio, they've sweated buckets, they've done the things, and that and then when it's not working, they're just like that there's something wrong with them, that they're broken. It's only them, that their body is not capable of coming back to where it used to be, or that they're not capable of feeling good anymore, feeling like themselves anymore. But the strategy is just broken. It's not you that's broken. You can't train like a 25-year-old when your 45-year-old hormones, are screaming for relief because you're under such inflammation and stress, and cortisol is going like crazy. Cortisol is a hormone, right? So if your cortisol hormone is out of whack, that's your stress hormone. It's also your fat storage hormone. And then if you have other hormones also in disarray because you're in the perimenopause or menopause, can you see how they're all fighting each other? They're not working synergistically together. It's all a whole bunch of chaotic noise in your body, and your body's just like, whoa, what is going on? And it's not getting results. So you have to listen to the signals, right? So you need to listen to your body. If you're not getting the results from where you are, if you are struggling and you know you've got inflammation, you've got pain, you got all those things we talked about, um, your body's talking to you, and you need to listen to her because she's the only body that you have. So I hope this is helpful for you today. And sometimes, we think about, well, heck, I've been doing so many good things for myself. And then we hear something like this and thinking, oh, maybe I wasn't doing so many good things for myself. And then you feel bad about it and you beat yourself up over it. Do not go there. Do not go there. Okay. You are doing the best you can with the information that you had available to you at the time. So we have no guilt here. No guilt, just data. You have information. Think about the things that weren't working for you and what information did that give you so that you can go on and make different choices, better choices, tweak things, change things, relook at things, reevaluate, refresh, restart, whatever it happens to be. But you have the data, you have the information from the results that you got that you can now use in order to help you get the actual results that you want, because now you have data and you have good information of what's going to work for you in midlife. So hopefully that was helpful. Thank you for joining me here on the Wednesday coaching call. Hopefully I'll be back live next week. But if not, I definitely will do a recording. And thanks for tuning in. Please share the emails with your friends who need to learn some of this information. Maybe they can hop on live or watch the recording as well too. So thanks so much for joining me here today. See you again next week. Have a wonderful Wednesday, you guys.